yes, it's cool or whatever. Yeah, you know the two leads actually hate each other in real life, right? Wait, what? Yeah, there's actually like a whole lore and like cast drama to it all, and they actually like have been acting because they hate each other so much.
Can you stop talking, please? Didn't Imurgency just make a video about that?
I'll let him take it away and explain it.
Hey guys, it's up to Imurgency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in a different location. Let's start there.
Wait, what?
If you don't care for exposition or lore building for this channel, you can skip to this timestamp right here where we get into the topic of this video. But for those of you with a shred of humanity and that do, I am actually on the road. I'm in my traveler era. Right now I'm currently in Jersey, about to head out to Iceland to live my little Icelandic fantasy. Yes. So I'm going to try my best to keep the content consistent. The background for this little gay boy with a mic will be speaking will not be so consistent.
You were warned. Be afraid, bitch.
So please bear with me. I'm also planning on having the latest episode of the podcast. Also, if you have not already known or tapped in, I do now have a podcast called the Shameless Promo Podcast, where me and my co-host Madison break down failed, forgotten, or just infamously iconic celebrity and influencer business ventures. We've talked about celebrity apps, celebrity hair care, influencer music careers, and coming soon, celebrity doctors and cosmetic procedures. So if that's of any of interest to you, you should go tap into the podcast. Link will be in the description below. And the reason I bring that up, besides to shamelessly promote the Shameless Promo Podcast, is that I'm going to be filming that episode in Iceland. So it's going to be an Icelandic episode. So I think there's nothing more exciting than that. So definitely tap in. That's enough lore dumping for right now. Let's talk about what you likely came here for. We're here to talk about the new romantic drama, or rom-droms as I like to call them, It Ends With Us. Because there's been some alleged cash drama and just general pushback from the movie that has come out. And I kind of want to talk about that for a little bit, break it down, because I have seen the movie. And I just found it really interesting to see like all that has come out of the movie since watching it, because I didn't know that things got down like that. So as of filming this, the movie came out this past Friday, August 9th. So if you're unfamiliar with what It Ends With Us is, that's okay. I don't blame you, because I did not really either up until I saw the movie at like a screening event. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not super tapped in with book talk or with a lot of works by Colleen Hoover, but the movie is based on a book with the same name by Colleen Hoover that was released back in 2016 and got a bunch of critical acclaim back then, as well as more recently back in 2022, thanks to it beginning to trend on TikTok. And the book got a movie adaptation, and a star-studded one at that, with the lead actress playing Lily Bloom being cast as Blake Lively, and the lead actor of the film being portrayed by none other than Justin Baldoni. And I feel like that is a good starting point for setting the scene for what has all transpired since this movie's come out. So the movie came out this past Friday, August 9th, and fans of the movie and book and just general watchers of how the rollout has been going have been noticing that there has seemed to be some beef between Justin Baldoni, who is, again, the lead actor and also the director of this film, and Blake Lively, as well as the rest of the cast. And before we get into any speculation and like theories or whatever have you about like this cast drama, I want to give you the facts first. So one fact, at the It Ends With Us movie premiere, all of the cast was pictured taking pictures with each other and interacting with each other. Well, all of the cast except for Justin Baldoni, who was noticeably absent from pictures and interviews with the rest of the cast, and did not even really announce the film when the screening took place, which is usually the case for a lot of film screenings. Like usually, especially for like book adaptations, the author of the book and the director of the movie will come together and say a few words either before or after the film is screened, just to like thank the cast, the audience, whatever, what have you. That did not happen. Two fact, Justin Baldoni follows the entire cast of It Ends With Us on Instagram, yet none of them follow him back, not even Colleen Hoover, the author of the book herself, which can be seen as strange considering that they've worked closely together. They follow each other, and in the beginning there was a lot of promotion between Colleen Hoover and Justin Baldoni, and they were seen working closely together throughout the early process of the movie's production. And those two things together have led fans to speculate that maybe there's some beef going on between Baldoni and the rest of the cast, and specifically Baldoni and Blake Lively, which fans think may stem from a little bit of creative control or creative differences in the production of said movie, which may involve Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, which is especially interesting when you consider the fact that Ryan Reynolds has also had a movie come out in this past week with Deadpool and Wolverine, and he was also seen in the promotion of It Ends With Us, showing up to the premiere with Blake Lively, and allegedly he also helped write a scene or two in the It Ends With Us movie. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Reynolds did write a large chunk of dialogue for the scene. Multiple insiders tell The Hollywood Reporter, but not the entire scene. Beyond that, he would have had no time to focus on his wife's films since he and director Sean Levy were working 24/7 on Deadpool and Wolverine, which I think is very interesting because that's not really his movie. And while yes, Blake Lively was credited as being a producer on the film, Ryan Reynolds, as far as I know, wasn't really supposed to be super incorporated in the movie, especially since Baldoni was the director of said movie. And it really makes me wonder like how much of the movie actually went according to Baldoni and Hoover's plan. Like something that the movie references a lot and was very present at both the premiere and the different pop-ups that have come up around the movie are flowers. And that's mostly because the main character in the movie, Lily Bloom, owns a flower shop. But it goes beyond just flowers and more so like how the flowers smell. And on the topic of smells, little tangent, can we all collectively agree that getting like the "oh, you smell so good" compliment is just like a top tier compliment someone can give you? Like, you look good, fine. You're so funny, cool. But you smell good? Like, marry me. Like, actually, like, get down on one knee, marry me. Scents are just so important because they really can just set the mood or become your signature. Plus, I think it's an objective fact that no one wants to be musty, okay? Not that anyone asked, but my favorite scent as of recently has been Bottega Veneta's Pour Homme because I love a darker and almost woody fragrance. And it's been making me feel just so much more, you know? But then sometimes I also want to switch up and become like more floral, you know? Floral, catch it. Which is why I personally love using Scentbird, because they give you an affordable way to try out different fragrances every month and to either switch up my usual scents or find my new signature. One great thing about Scentbird is that you get to learn a lot about the fragrances that you do use. Each scent comes with its own little breakdown of like what notes are in it, so you yourself can work on becoming a parfum pro. So if you're interested in getting started with Scentbird, you can use code EMERGENCY to get 55% off your first month of Scentbird, which comes out to about like $8 for like some high quality fragrances. I think very much yes. But little sponsor aside, let's get back into It Ends With Us. But like I was saying, the cast drama on It Ends With Us has been getting a little nasty. And when I say nasty, I mean less so for like the cast themselves. Like no one has actually publicly come out and addressed any of this. It's been mostly fan speculation that has not been refuted. And according to a couple blogs and articles, some insiders have been saying some things as well. Like sources have come forward to tell publications like The Hollywood Reporter that there was a fracture among the filmmakers in the post-production process wherein two different cuts of the movie emerged, where Blake Lively commissioned a cut of the movie from editor Shane Reed, who was also an editor on Deadpool and Wolverine, namely the film that her husband was on, and who also was the same editor that cut Blake Lively's directed music video for Taylor Swift, I Bet You Think About Me. The article also goes further to state that it's unclear if any of this cut was ultimately used in the final product, as Shane Reed was not credited as an editor on the movie. But that is interesting to note when we think about the whole context of this whole cast drama. It seems that the narrative that's being put out there is that there were some creative differences between Baldoni and Lively, and that allegedly Lively was trying to change a little too much or take too many creative freedoms in the production of this movie, as well as also incorporating her husband Ryan Reynolds, which I do want to say first and foremost is not necessarily a foreign thing in the movie production or entertainment space. Like there are very often many different cuts of movies, TV shows that either don't make the cut, make a partial cut, or ultimately make the final cut. It's not unusual to see different cuts of a film be produced or written about or drafted. But where this does take a little bit of precedence and this drama becomes a little bit more serious stems from a lot of the public's pushback and critique of this movie. And more specifically with the movie's marketing. Because we can talk a lot about the alleged dramas, like whether or not the two want to work together again, whether there is like this career altering beef or not. But at the end of the day, that is just speculation. Like Baldoni has come forward and said like, if there was a sequel, Baldoni said that he definitely would not want to try on that many hats and would want to take a more backseat approach and let Lively do a little bit more in terms of like production and such. But that really does not matter as much as what people think about the movie, because people's reactions to a movie dictate whether or not the movie was a success or not, and whether or not the movie gets a sequel. And it seems that for one, the movie is doing very well in the box office. They've made a pretty decent profit, with it making about $50 million in its opening weekend, essentially making double the production costs. And while the movie can be considered a box office success, it did raise a lot of eyebrows for a lot of people and was not necessarily received entirely well by people, because some fans or just casual walkers have been saying that the movie's marketing and the movie's promotion and that misleading marketing can be seen as hurtful. So quick trigger warning before we proceed. If you have not seen It Ends With Us, the movie does contain themes of domestic violence, or how I'll be referencing it for the rest of this video, DV.
We've all seen this video. It's been deleted off of TikTok, but they still have it on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure they told the girls like what to say in regards to like getting like footage for this. Listen, as someone who works in media, I've seen this all the time. The girls saying that it's hot, it's sexy, it's hot guys, hot girls. Like, but girl, this is a movie about domestic violence. And then you got Blake Lively, you know, telling people to bring their florals, trying to create a Barbie movie. It's like, ma'am, this is not appropriate. And I get it. She's a producer. She wants to guarantee that the film breaks even and makes a profit. But this is just so deceptive in a way, just making, you know, people who haven't read the book blind to the actual subject matter in the film. The amount of DV survivors that I've seen post online about how this film has re-triggered their trauma, how people who went to go see this film was re-triggered by the stuff they saw on screen. And not only Blake Lively, but a majority of the cast is ignoring the actual subject matter of the film.
And like I said before, I've not been super tapped into book talk, nor have I been really tapped into Colleen Hoover's works in the past. So I went into this movie not knowing any of this, and I'd go as far to assume that most people that have not read the book or known much about It Ends With Us have went in with the same lack of knowledge, because the way that the movie is marketed and just promoted in general does not give that. The movie is advertised as being this romantic drama that has these two love interests and a third additional love interest, where it just seems that things are steamy and passionate. Plates are being broken, things are being crashed and thrown on the floor, and super passionate and fiery, which is fine and dandy for any regular romantic drama. I just think that it completely omits or doesn't really give light that this is a story about DV. Like those plates that are being destroyed, those things that are being thrown to the ground, that passionate destruction that we're seeing hinted at in the trailer is actually DV. Like, it is not a safe situation. It is not this pseudo sexy Wattpad-esque crime of passion that it's being advertised as. Like, no, this is genuinely an unsafe situation, and I feel like it's kind of disingenuous to advertise it as that when it is something completely different. I understand why they would do that, because for one, it's easier to market like a intense romantic drama rather than advertising a romantic drama that is framed around this story of DV, but it's a misrepresentation of what the movie's about and just does not prepare the viewer, or at least the common viewer that has not already seen anything about It Ends With Us, for what they can expect. And as a result, there are a group of people that have gone into this movie blind or semi-blind, that have experienced intimate partner violence or DV, that have either been re-traumatized, triggered, or just caught off guard by the topics in the movie, because they weren't expecting to see something like that appear in the movie, because it wasn't communicated that way. Like, even in the promotional materials that have been put out and the interviews that have been shown, a lot of the questions and answers revolve around these lighthearted topics and pretty much everything except for the crux of the movie, which is DV. So if you're just going in blind and just watching some of the promotional materials, going on their Instagram and seeing like what this is about and what the cast is really talking about, you wouldn't get a sense that this is what the movie is about. Before filming this video, I hopped on their Instagram just to check, and there is a more recent video of Justin Baldoni thanking the audience for supporting such a serious story, but he doesn't really go into detail of like what he's thanking the audience for. The language is still kind of vague, like hinting that there's like this important issue that the movie is addressing and that he's glad that people are supporting and really liking the issue, but doesn't really name the issue for what it is, which doesn't give people a lot of prep for like what they're about to see. Like, speaking from my own experience, I went into this movie blind, essentially not really knowing what I was getting myself into. And as someone who hasn't had direct experience with DV, I was still taken off guard and shocked because I didn't know the movie was gonna go there. And I wasn't sure for a very long time that the movie was actually going there because of the way that it was portrayed. And this is something that I will say, for me, the movie was very eye-opening because the depictions of DV were unlike anything that I had necessarily seen before or thought of in my head as DV prior. Like, I had never really seen it portrayed in that way before, because a lot of times when media portrays DV, it is more like overt behavior. Like, for those that have seen the movie or read the book, it is usually we're portrayed in the way that Lily's parents experienced that, and it's not as often portrayed in the covert ways that were shown in Lily's relationship. So for me, as someone that was uninformed generally about all of this, I walked away with a different perspective and feeling like I learned a little bit more, but that's just not going to be the case for everyone. For like people that have actually experienced this stuff, I can completely understand why having something like that thrown in your face can be traumatizing and not simply just like a learning experience. Like, for a lot of people, that is their life or has been their life that they're trying to work through, and having that kind of just brought up in their face without their full knowledge of what's going on can definitely be seen as problematic. And I'm not sure, I don't want to say for certain because I'm not certain on this at all, if there is any form of content warning or anything like that prior to the movie playing. You know how like a lot of times with like Netflix shows or like streamers, there'll be like a little content warning before, like, this show or movie depicts themes of DV or sensitive or traumatizing issues that may be triggering to some. I don't know if that's played before a lot of movies. I don't think it was for mine, or if it was, I just don't remember seeing it, but that's something important to note. But yeah, I'm not going to speak specifically about about whether or not I believe that this was like good representation of these sorts of lived experiences in relation to like DB and stuff, because I don't think that's my place at all to really speak on it, because I'm not a survivor and I haven't gone through something like that. I feel like that's more so the place of people that have that experience to really speak on that. But I do think that overall more could have been done to really advertise the movie as such, and I do think that it is a bit disingenuous to omit or underplay those themes and aspects in the movie for the sake of being more palatable and marketable for the general public. But that aside, and cash drama aside, like I said, this movie has been doing very well in the box office, and I'm interested to see how this does play out as time goes on, because I feel like the narrative of both the cash drama and of the marketing drama of the movie of it all will evolve as time goes on. But this is just something that I wanted to talk about because I saw the movie and I saw some of the pushback from the movie and wanted to get my 2 cents on and highlight, if you do want to see this movie, that this is what the movie talks about and you don't go in and get blindsided as other people were. But yeah, now I want to turn the mic over to you and hear from you. What do you think about all this? What do you think about the cash drama? Do you think that there is any legitimacy to it? And what do you think about the underplay and misrepresentation of the themes that went on in this movie? I'd love to hear all your thoughts and comments down below. If you're new to the channel and like content like this, definitely make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and follow me on my social medias here at Imurgency on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Also, make sure to check out the Shameless Promo podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasting. And don't forget to rate it once you've seen it. And thanks again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. And don't forget to use code Imurgency to get 55% off your first month of Scentbird. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Imurgency, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.